In this video, I want to talk about one of the most common mistakes people make when starting an online business, and it has to do with choosing their niche. Now, eventually, I came up with a system to help people avoid all the common mistakes that are out there, all the common mistakes that I've made, and actually scale their businesses to full-time incomes. But before we get into that, I want to talk about this common mistake. And it's all about choosing a niche that's too broad or too competitive. So it's a common mistake, but there is an easy solution, and it's called niching down. Now, again, I made this first mistake when I was starting out with my very first website. I started a business all about health supplements. It was too broad and it was too competitive. And I certainly made other mistakes along the way, but this is a big mistake. And the reason that I'm telling you about this is that in order to be successful, you need to avoid some big mistakes on your sort of online journey. There are some mistakes that you can make, and no matter how hard you work, you're just not going to be able to fix them, and your business is sort of doomed from the beginning. And choosing a niche that is too competitive, no matter how hard you work at building your business, sometimes it's just not fixable. There's other mistakes that you can sort of, go back and fix, but, choosing the wrong topic, the wrong niche is certainly one that you need to avoid. And that's sort of why I'm sharing this video. And it's really the video I wish I watched, before I got started many years ago. So for this demonstration, we'll just jump over to this whiteboard and we'll talk about the process of niching down. But before we do, we'll just highlight, five of the main niches. So the five main niches or niches, and I sort of sometimes call these categories. They are health, wealth, relationships. Now, these are sort of like the big three. So if you ever hear about, various niches, health, wealth, relationships, those are like the big three. There's a lot of money to be made in these niches because they all have something in common, which is they help you either avoid pain or gain pleasure. So you can make a lot of money in these niches because of those factors, avoiding pain and gaining pleasure. It's a reason why people buy things online. And then the two other ones are hobbies and interests. So hobbies and interests, and then personal development. Now, right off the bat, I'm assuming that you'd probably know to not go out and build a website all about health, all about wealth, relationships, and so on. So these are the five main sort of niches, the five main categories, but people still make mistakes in choosing a niche that is too broad, even though, I'm assuming that you would know not to build a website about just, random hobbies or relationships. It's way too broad. So we need to sort of look at this concept of what's called niching down. And in order to do that, you need to basically start at with those five main niches. So we'll call that category, or those five main niches. And then you want to go to like a specific market within that category. And then from there, you want to go even further and you want to maybe look at a customer. And then you can even take it one step further and you can look at pain points. So we can do a few examples here to really see how this process of niching down, going from a category, a broad niche, to a specific market in that category, and then maybe highlighting a specific customer in that market, and then maybe even going further and highlighting some pain points that customer has. So if we just kind of choose, an example of health. So within the health sort of category, we have the market of weight loss. Now, right away, you probably don't want to start an online business all about just weight loss in general. You need to sort of niche down even further. So let's pick a customer, a demographic, and let's call it mothers. And then if we want to go one step further, why don't we look at losing weight after, pen's acting up here, after pregnancy. So here is in this example, we've gone from health, way too broad, weight loss, still way too broad. Then we've highlighted a customer, mothers, and now we're targeting mothers after pregnancy. So losing weight after pregnancy. So this is an example of niching down, and you are much better off building an online business that targets and speaks to mothers who want to lose weight after being pregnant. You can speak directly to someone, you can connect better to them. It's less competitive. It's just generally a better process and a better idea to start a business kind of going down this path. Now, I'm not saying that this is a good niche. You'd have to evaluate it, but this process kind of shows you that this process of niching down is really ideal and something you will definitely want to consider with whatever category you start with. So if we just do a few other examples to kind of see how this works, why don't we do one in the wealth niche? So that's another big one. We'll do wealth and relationships. So wealth, if we start with wealth, a market within that category might be investing. And again, you probably don't want to start a business just about investing. It's too broad. You can investing for seniors, investing in the stock market, real estate, and so on. It's just too broad. So if we want to maybe pick a specific, customer in this realm of investing, why don't we pick, entrepreneurs? And then why don't we pick a pain point? Maybe real estate is a pain point for entrepreneurs. So we can talk about, real estate investing for entrepreneurs. So now we've targeted and we've niched down from wealth too broad, investing still, that market's too broad. And then we're targeting investing in real estate for entrepreneurs. Maybe they're a good customer base. They've got a lot of money. And maybe, they are doing well with their online businesses and they want to branch off and invest into real estate. Again, I'm not sure if that's a good category, but this is just a good example to show you how that works. So now we'll do one where sometimes niching down, you can actually niche down a little too far. So if we start this one with relationships, so within the relationship category, we can go to a market, and why don't we go to the pet market? And then within the pet market, why don't we go to French Bulldog owners? Okay, so that's a customer within that market. And then if we go, maybe we can go to nutrition. So we're talking just the nutrition for French Bulldogs. Now, this would be an example where you've probably niched down a little too much. Having a business that just focuses on nutrition regarding French Bulldog, it's probably a little overkill. If you just take a step back and you just did a website about French Bulldogs, you can talk about their nutrition, their training, their mannerisms, breeding, and all sorts of stuff. It's probably a much better avenue to take than only focusing on, French Bulldog food and so to speak. So there are ways where you go a little too far, and then, you certainly don't want to do that either. But at the same time, you don't want to go out and build a website all about dogs in general, and talk about every breed of dog. It's probably a project that is way too big to tackle, and it's just too competitive for, your first business, so to speak. So having it just about French Bulldog owners and just focusing on French Bulldogs would be a much, much better route. So the reason why it's recommended to niche down like this is, firstly, it's easier to rank a website that is less competitive. So generally when you niche down, the keywords that you're going to target are going to be less competitive. And even if you're not building a website as your platform for affiliate marketing, it's generally going to be easier to gain traction online if you niche down within a market. And then the other point is that it's actually easier to make sales as well. So if you have a business that talks directly to a specific person and you sort of hone in on their pain points, then you're going to be able to build a better relationship with them, and you're going to be able to convert them with your product recommendations. So remember, affiliate marketing, it's all about making product recommendations. So if you have a website and you're sort of known as like the friendly expert that knows everything about, losing weight after being pregnant, or everything about French Bulldogs, you might have a French Bulldog and you have a website that talks all about it. You've sort of been there, done that. And when you make your product recommendations, it's just going to connect with your visitors much better than just speaking in a broad type of niche. So generally, it's better to gain traffic from your various online platforms, and then it's easier to make a sale when you have niched down. there are ways that you can actually kind of do this process a little quicker. You can sort of find niches that you're looking at yourself. And I actually have this document, which I will include below this video, that has some of these niches, and many of them are already sort of niched down. So if we look here, we've got 200 plus profitable niches in these various markets that we just spoke about. And then we've got, to niche down this recommendation going from category, specific market, specific customer, and specific pain points. And then we've got a whole bunch of niches in the health area, and then in the wealth area, and so on. So if you're interested in this document, you can get it below this video. So I hope that you found that useful. The concept of niching down is really important. You want to avoid some of these mistakes, especially when you're first starting and you're first starting your first sort of online business. Now, it's not so much that you need to avoid one common mistake, which is this one. You also need to sort of avoid many mistakes along the way of creating your online business. So what I actually have is a 4-part video course that talks about a system that I have that shares some of the mistakes I've made. And it's a system that I use to produce my online businesses that helps me avoid mistakes like choosing the wrong niche or going after keywords that are too competitive and so on. So below this video, you can certainly check out the link for that free video course. And again, I've shared this with you because this is one of the lessons that I wish I found out when I was first getting started. As I mentioned, I made this mistake. I wish I found videos like this before I started, so I avoid the trial and error and the years of failing forward until I figured out the proper way to do this type of affiliate marketing and build a business with a specific strategy. So again, the course that I have outlines that specific strategy. And then, there's other videos that talk about exactly how I do affiliate marketing. I've got a YouTube playlist all about that. And then I do have other videos about, choosing your niche, because that's going to be an important factor. So if you're struggling to choose a niche or find your niche, then certainly I'll include a link to those videos as well. So I hope that you found this useful, and I will see you in the next one.